to another video, and today I want to show you this book. It's called How to Draw Cats and Kittens, a complete guide for beginners. Very cool book, very red, I like this, very bold. It's published by Moncelli Studio. There's the back, it's got some cats and kittens on, look. What does it say? Learn how to create realistic portraits of your favourite felines with this expertly illustrated in-depth guide to drawing cats and kittens. So let's have a look through, shall we? It's got this foldy kind of fake dust jacket bit. It's really nice having that collection of illustrations, sketches of cats. Tells you exactly what it's going to focus on here. This is what the instruction centres around. Oh, a cat in a box. It's dedicated to Den. We will meet again on that bright distant shore. Something tells me that could be a cat, or maybe not. Right, here's the contents page, look. So this book covers various introductory stuff first, art materials, the usual kind of thing like that. And then we've got a chapter 1 about cat anatomy, drawing the different bits of a cat. Chapter 2 specifically about kittens. Have got slightly different proportions, obviously, to full-grown cats. Chapter 3 is about cat expression, so centering on the face. Then we've got cats, and then we've got cats in motion and at rest. Various different sort of cat poses, how they run, etc. And then patterns and breeds, so focusing on specific breeds of cat and their differences. Then we've got something at the end, enclosing an index. So here we go. Introduction. Since ancient times, humans have been fascinated with the cat's unique blend of grace and beauty, etc, etc, etc. Yes, they have. They are very graceful, very beautiful. About this book, art materials. I won't go into any of that. You know, it's just basically telling you which pencil types to use, etc. Cat anatomy. So here we are in chapter 1. I like the bold colour usage in this book. It's really nice. So straight away, we're looking at the basic head structure here for a cat. The skull, the cranium, and the teeth. I always think cats would look very different if they just, well, didn't have any muscles or skin or fur. Pretty creepy. So anyway, this is kind of a circular shape, generally, with the snout sticking out and the ears. And then here, how the cat head comes together. So they're kind of using a line to go up from the nose and then out to the ear. Doing that on both those views, look. That's a good tip. In fact, they've really accentuated it there. The line of the nose sweeps up to meet the eye and then can be continued in one's imagination. You wouldn't actually draw this extended line to hit the inside corner of the ears. A useful tip though. So drawing a cat head from the front, they've got a kind of slight oval, a squashed circle if you like. Make it into 4, do a nose, eyes, mouth. So it's in 3 stages. And then the next 3 stages, you've basically got to add the ears. Some of the rims of the ears and the sort of whiskers around the edges, and then adding some more definition here to the muzzle, the hair tufts and so on. On step 7, the final step here, you've got adding dots along the whisker rows. I wouldn't normally do that actually, I would just sort of dot randomly, but yeah, they do actually follow lines, don't they? And what they've done here is just remove the pencil lines and just inked it. So this is now drawing a cat head, but from the side rather than straight on, which is obviously it's going to be the same size, but there's some different things to think about here in terms of the angles, the protruding snout. And this again follows 7 steps. And here's the 7th step, the finished product with all the pencil lines removed. Now this is perhaps the most tricky of the 3 so far. This is a 3/4 view, so it's sort of slightly from the side and slightly from above. This is slightly more difficult, I would say. But you've got, you know, the 6 steps, to follow in order to achieve that look. Now we're looking specifically on this page at the eyes. Cat's eyes are beautiful, and they do have this habit, don't they, of expanding and narrowing depending on the light. And we've got really good eyesight. So here's some steps how to draw the eyes, including adding some shading and reflection. You can follow those through. And then this is the eye from the side, which I would argue is, yeah, slightly more difficult as well from straight on. And we're on to nose and whiskers now. You can see this is very useful in terms of really zooming in on those two particular parts of the face, in particular the nose. Little teeth sticking out there, look. They look strange without pupils. Drawing a cat nose, it's like a squashed heart, look. And then you put two sort of nostril holes and then lines going straight down, and then you do sort of this kind of angular bottom end of the nose, and the line continues straight down through it. It's calling it a jelly bean shape, but I think it's more like a squashed heart. Right, carrying on, here's the 3/4 view of the nose. So as you can see, this is a really good book. It breaks it down, it makes it pretty simple. It gives you steps to follow, and it gives you various little tips in blue as you go along. So this is the mouth. Tricky. I like the way cats have got really tiny teeth at the front in between the sort of canines. Ears. Again, they're quite difficult, and cats can really move their ears around in all kinds of different ways, depending on, you know, what they're trying to listen to. So you can see this ear's pricked, doesn't do a sound over there. This one isn't. So yeah, they're very flexible. Right, we're now looking at the body. I'm going to pause for a slurp of tea. So we've first of all got the cat skeleton. So the rib cage is at the very front, at the top end of the cat, a bit like a human, and then just the backbone down to the end and the tail. Here's that with the muscular detail added on top. The muscles of a cat. The hindquarters are well developed, you can see that. Ready to crouch and leap forward. I mean, they're always running around and jumping up and down. So expect those to be well developed. It's hard to draw cats and make them look like they're actually cats, because you know, this is a very common type of pose, if you like. The cat sort of walking slowly up to something to investigate. But it's good that this book just breaks it down and shows you what the lines and the bones are doing. That one too. But it's also encouraging you to think about it in terms of just some block shapes. You can see them there, sitting. The fur obscures some of the cat's anatomy here, giving the hind leg a rounded shape. Yeah, you don't sort of see the leg bend, it's behind all that fur. Obviously more tricky with long haired cats, and I think they will mention that later on in here. Here's a bit about front legs. They can do all sorts of tucky-inny things, can't they, with those? Yeah, again, it's trying to get you to think about it in terms of the shapes for the joints. Makes it easier. Hind legs, same thing, but a slightly different structure to the front legs. Oh, these are nice, simple drawings. Paws and claws, so down at the end now, the legs. And they have retractable claws, of course, don't they? They can bring in and out. What they're doing here, sort of comparing a cat's claw to a human hand. There are some similarities. And more about paws. Tail and fur. So some cats, you know, have got really bushy tails. Some have got much longer tails than others. Some have got no tails at all. That's something to bear in mind. Just a couple of lines there, just to imply a bit of tail moving, shaking. Right, short hair here with pencil, doing lots of little strokes, look. Rather than a line, it's just lots of smaller lines to build up that sort of texture. Okay, so that's short hair. Long hair, obviously a little bit more tricky. Longer strokes. That's the main takeaway point there, is just longer strokes. Really cool. Right, we've completed chapter 1. Now we're on to the kittens chapter. There are a few things cuter than a kitten. Oversized heads, wide eyes, and insatiable curiosity combine into an appealing creature for admirers and artists alike. Yes, so it is, as I said, the proportions are different. The eyes are bigger, the heads are bigger, the legs are shorter until they grow up. So here's a comparison of the cat proportions. In fact, you can see that much longer legs here, smaller head. Sometimes people say that kittens have to grow into their ears. If they start off way too big. Oh, that's nice. They're so flexible, cats, and they're so agile that it's actually, yeah, quite challenging to capture some of the movements, but they're doing it well in this book. Oh, there's a very small baby there. It hasn't even opened its eyes yet. So it's talking about really small kittens. It's slowly going through as they age, get older and older, 4 to 5, 6 to 8 weeks. Those proportions begin to change over time. 9 weeks to 4 months. They're looking a bit more like a small cat now. 5 to 6 months. And this is specifically looking at a Siamese kitten. They've got that sort of the dark fur on their noses and feet, and then white elsewhere. Drawing a sitting kitten. Okay, I'm going to keep flicking through here because, as you can see, it's going into more and more detail about stuff. And we're now looking at cat expressions. Happy and content. Oh, look at that. Angry or defensive. Yeah, look at that arched back. I wouldn't want to stroke a cat when they're doing that. Probably not a good idea. Oh, look at that. Uncertain. So here's a little bit of paper with what must have been one of my daughters having a go at drawing some of these herself. Very good. I'll put that back in again later. So we've got some different sort of expressions now here. Cats in motion and at rest. Standout feature of cats is how graceful they are, whether moving or just sitting still. And they're very relaxing, I think, as well. Breaking down the structure. Yeah. Action lines. This is good. Think of a cat in terms of a line of action. Okay. This is that sort of pose halfway through cleaning themselves and they forget what they're doing and just look up. Look a bit silly. Stretching, lounging. Yeah. Anyway, you get the gist. It's a really good book. It's got so much in it. Lots of different positions, lots of different things to consider, lots of advice, patterns and breeds. So we're now going to start looking at the different cats with different markings, fur, length, stuff like that, squashed faces, and so on. Bengal, they've got beautiful fur. Yeah, and Maine Coon cats. They seem to be becoming more and more popular around here. Must be getting very hot. It's a heat wave in the UK at the moment. As I'm making this video, we're expected to reach highs of 40 degrees. And I do feel sorry for cats, especially long-haired cats and dogs in this weather. That looks strange. Siamese cats. There's reclining cats. And we're at the end here. Look, it's a closing statement there. Cats are playful, cats are nice, cats are cheerful, cats chase mice, they really do. Mine don't just chase them, they bring them in regularly, which is not my favourite bit about cat ownership. And there's the end, similar thing to what we saw at the beginning, all in a glorious red. What a lovely book. So if you like cats and kittens and you like drawing them, I recommend this book. It's a great little resource to help you improve your skills. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe and we'll see you next time. Bye.